Wait a minute. I'm not gonna like this, am I?
Nope. These videos are not for children. If you are a children, then piss off.
I'm not Dick Grayson. This is Damian Wayne.
Wayne?
His son.
Hey there, it's me, your least favorite YouTuber, Infuso. And today, I'm here to talk about my least favorite Batman character, Damian Wayne. Now, ever since I started making Batman-related content for the channel, I have made my utter disdain of this character very well known. I answered questions that were never even asked. And you in the comments, you either cheer me on in my adamant hatred of a fictional child, or you condemn me for my alleged bad opinion. And after making several Batman videos where I go completely out of my way to trash a character that's barely related to the topic at hand, oh, actually, now that I think about it, he's fully related to the topic at hand, being that he is the son of Batman. Anyway, after mentioning it so many times, I've only just now realized I've never really fully clarified all of the many reasons I hate this character and see him as complete failure. And now, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. First and foremost, let's start at ground zero. Because I don't only just hate this cartoon child, I hate his panel-to-panel parents as well. Well, together, at least. I'm obviously quite fond of Batman, actually. I have never in my life been a fan, or even just an understanding reader of the whole Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul romance. You know, the pairing never seemed legitimate or natural to me. No matter what the continuity is, it always feels contrived. And I mean this in all forms of Batman media. We're talking the comics, Batman the Animated Series, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Arkham games, everything. I have never liked it. I have never understood it.
Gator, never been about that. Never been about that. You feel me?
The thing is that Batman has been in a lot of interesting ships. Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Zatanna. Talia al Ghul ain't one of them. She doesn't make that list. As a matter of fact, she's on the other list right up there next to Batman/Batgirl. Nuh-uh. No thank you. Don't want any of that. None of it. Their relationship, of course, was always going to feel a little bit forced to some degree, because it actually kind of was. The two characters were set up by Ra's al Ghul, Talia's father, and he wanted the two to get together so that Batman could become the heir to the League of Assassins. So yeah, this was very much an attempt at an arranged marriage. I know the writers have written this as the setup, but actually write in that Batman and Talia managed to legitimately fall in love, despite Bruce's better judgment. But that still doesn't really work for me. It just, again, chess pieces falling into place. It's a little bit too convenient. It kind of seems like Talia was groomed to be the suitor of whoever her father chose for her. And being that Bruce is allegedly the world's greatest detective, I would think that he would understand that in full, and would probably feel some type of way about going further with that relationship. That's just me. You know, the whole marry my daughter so then this way you can raise my team of ninjas. It just, for some reason, it just to me kind of invalidates the whole legitimacy behind the whole shipping. Also, these two characters have zero chemistry. And this isn't a performance issue. I'm not talking about a specific set of actors who played these characters. I mean the characters in themselves. They're two separate puzzle pieces that you're trying to connect together, and no matter how much you make the edges jagged, it's not gonna fit the right way you want it to. And at the end of the day, Damian is a sentient reminder of a comic book couple that should have never really been. But then it also becomes this weird chicken and the egg situation here, because I hate Damian more because he's a direct result of Bruce and Talia. But now I hate Bruce and Talia even more because they're responsible for Damian Wayne. You know, where does it really all come from? It's just a giant orb of hatred. Not to mention that it's a little bit questionable just how consenting Damian's conception was. I don't know, whole thing is just bad news to me. I don't like it. His whole birth and the fact that he was essentially a test tube baby who had a short-lived case of Benjamin Button syndrome just feels a little bit too contrived for me. It's a little bit too much. The kid's 4 years old and he's only been alive for 9 months. I can't with this. You see, my brain can accept a man incapable of experiencing normal body heat who also uses a freeze gun, a man with a split personality whose face just so happened to get half disfigured, a mad scientist who transforms himself into a giant fucking bat, a penguin man penguin, and an unidentifiable clown who's immune to death and imprisonment. But rapidly aging children? That's where I draw the line. Despite the fact that plenty of other Batman shows have somewhat worked with this trope, why is this a thing? Like, no, seriously, like, this has happened at least 4 times off the top of my head. In all seriousness, the whole thing just kind of sounds goofy to me. And it's easy to recognize that the reason his story was given these strange details were really just a way of explaining away other inconsistencies. Like birthing Damian from an artificial womb was just an explanation as to why Talia wasn't rocking her baby bump prior to this revelation. Having Damian age up with a Chaos Emerald or whatever the fuck they were using was just writing off why the character was only just showing up or being spoken about now. Since Damian's return to the comics and his resurrection of relevancy, most books kind of set him up as being the one to take over the Bat mantle. And this does not sit well with me. This irritates me quite a lot. I spoke about this not too long ago in my Batman Beyond video, but I hate the idea of a famous character's legacy being taken over by the next of kin following their departure. Like, yeah, sure, that story can be told, and once or twice is kind of nice, but when it's a constant thing, it seems cheap. You know, at the end of the day, you're asking yourself, oh, why is this person the right person for the role? Well, he is his father's kid. That's not a good enough answer. I'm my father's kid, and let me tell you, I could tell you jack shit about plumbing. And I was even a plumber for a short period of time in my life. So, my point is that one doesn't adjust their talents into somebody to create something with similar styles. I'm gonna stop talking. I think I really lost it at so I'm just gonna stop there. Now, granted, Damian does have the training to take on the role, but he doesn't have the right temperament. And I think Bruce himself would probably admit the same, or at least he should. Out of all the Bat family, I'd have to say that either Dick Grayson or Cassandra Cain would probably be the right character to take over such a role. You know, after Bruce hangs the cape up, or is buried in the cowl, whichever comes first. Though Nightwing still definitely shouldn't, but I'm not going to go too far into that one because that's a video for a different day. Damian Wayne as Batman it sounds wrong, and I feel dirty, and I want to shower and cry simultaneously. I remember hearing people losing their goddamn mind when Lucius Fox's other kid was slated to take on the role. He's gonna be the Bat of the future. And people went apeshit. And I don't get it, because I would take that dude over the boy Blunder wearing the cowl any day of the week. His speech patterns and way of speaking, they make sense for the character's upbringing. I'm not giving shit to that. As a matter of fact, I'm giving the writers credit. But I also find it unreadable in comics, and I wish it was inaudible in movies, because I can't fucking stand it.
This never-ending mission of ours is a lonely endeavor. If this trollop provides some carnal release, so be it.
The way that he talks, whack!
It doesn't do anything to endear me to the character. As a matter of fact, it puts me off him entirely. I remember watching Death of Superman for the first time, and I was really hyped to see it, as I really enjoy that story. But then Damian Wayne pops up on my screen for a millisecond, and my mood is entirely ruined. I didn't even watch the sequel. I mean, that's unrelated. I haven't found the time, but I like to think, you know, subconsciously, it's because Damian showed up for that millisecond. I don't understand how we live in a world where it was decided that Dawn from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Connor from Angel were irredeemably whiny little brats. And yet here we are celebrating Damian Wayne. And I'm sorry, but let's just get down to it. The most basic thing to say. Damian is fucking annoying. Like how? Just how, actually. I don't have a follow-up sentence. Just how? He's an angry, angsty little twerp who thinks he knows best all the time. What about that makes people go, oh yeah, no, that's the guy I want to see in the Bat Ears. That is a character I want on the cover of my comic book.
'Cause I'm ready to take up the mantle. I'm Batman.
With all that teenage angst, ego, and attitude, this guy just comes off as Diet Jason Todd. I said what I said. Like, no offense to anyone creatively here, but Damian is such a thoughtless creation. How much actual thought and time could have really been devoted to making this character? Like, it probably takes the same amount of creative thought that goes into naming your series something stupid and generic like The Day Blank Died. You know, completely effortless. On top of all that, Damian is ridiculously overpowered. He's kind of a complete Mary Sue. Now granted, they do give reason as to why Damian is as skilled as he is, having both Batman and the Al Ghul's genes and training regimen. And, you know, also he has access to a Lazarus pit, and he was trained since birth by the top assassins in the world. Yes, there's definitely reasoning as to why he could do the things he did. But still, it's kind of way too much and way too soon. Like, it seems like an honest attempt at legitimizing the character, but I have the same problems here that I did with Hush. You're giving somebody too much too soon. Let the audience take a liking, or in my case, disliking to the character before you start giving them the world. Maybe gauge your audience a little bit and try to figure out if this is gonna work. There are things I like about the character. I think he quite possibly has the best character design and attire out of all of the Robins. Of course, when saying this, we're obviously disqualifying Dick Grayson's Elvis phase, because, quite frankly, it would be unfair to include it, and also he was Nightwing when he had it, so. But seriously, I actually think that he has the best Robin design out of all of them. I mean, of course, every Robin design is pretty much an altered variation of the one that came before him, but I genuinely think he looks the coolest out of all of them. Take that for whatever it's worth. And it probably ain't worth much. What I will say is that the New Boy Wonder's compassion for animals and passion for animal rights is probably the most interesting part of him. And I do actually think the fact that he's so disillusioned with people that he has an easier time connecting and protecting animals, it's a pretty interesting development, and it also does a lot to separate him from Robins before him. I do like that writers are actually trying to make him stand out as his own fictional person. But even with that, the best thing about the character is his name. Damian Wayne? Why, that almost sounds like Damon Wayans. And Damon Wayans is the brother of Marlon Wayans, and Marlon Wayans almost played Robin back in Batman and Batman Returns. Oh shit, I did it. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon minus Kevin Bacon. Now, I won't lie to you and say that there haven't been interesting stories with this character. I do enjoy the mini clone saga thing that they had there. I thought that was kind of cool. I'll even go out of my way and say when the character is aged up, like in the few instances that he's written to be an adult man, he's not as bad. Hell, I'd even say that adult Damian is somewhat tolerable. But he's not often depicted as being a full-grown man. He's usually a child who tries to act like a man and fails at being human. But like I said, even with that aside, even when Damian is an adult, he's not very exciting or interesting to me. He's just tolerable, that's it. Damian Wayne does get good character development, and there is a positive progression there. And yes, it's definitely an improvement, but it's just an improvement. It's still not great for me. Who knows, maybe there will be more developments over time. Maybe there's a story or two I haven't read that will completely reshape my opinion on this character. I would love for that. I know a lot of people think that I want to hate for the sake of hating, but no, I would genuinely like Batman things. So with that being said, if any of you listening have any good suggestions of Damian Wayne content or like a definitive Damian Wayne story that I haven't checked out yet, let me know in the comments section below. I do actually read these things. I'll tell you what, I will pick the top 3 to 5, and then I will go out of my way to check them out. We'll come back to this topic. Anyway, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me here again. Of course, as always, I've been your least favorite YouTuber, Infuso, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Dick Grayson. He was my son.
I am vengeance. I am the night, and that was Infuso. Just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.
So, if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too would like to become a V-generate, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, nerds!
And if you're not joining the fun, you're in for one bad day. And you know what they say about having one bad day?
Catch him next time. Same bat time. Same bat channel.